Hello, this is Mark Krupp. This video is about how to do your research before selling things online. I can't emphasize enough how important doing your research is. This is not something you want to leave up to hunches. You don't want to just run out and buy things on clearance aisles and start just listing them on eBay. Many times you're going to find out if you do that, you're probably going to pay too much for them. You're not going to have enough profit to pay your listing fees, your commissions, and your shipping. So it's critical that you do your research. It's critical that you know your competition. It's critical to know if there's a seasonality to the product that you're selling. Now, the first tool I'm going to show you is on eBay. This is a free tool. All you have to do is go up onto the advanced section here in the upper right, press it. Now, I'm going to use an example of torque wrenches. I'm thinking about selling torque wrenches, let's say. And what I would do is I would enter it in here. I'm just going to, and then hit the search button. What you do is then you go into the lower left-hand area here and hit completed list. Now, what you'll get here is a list of the items that had a listing on there in the last 14 days on eBay. The ones that are listed in green are the ones that ended up in a completed sale. The ones in black didn't. Now, there might be a number of reasons why these particular torque wrenches didn't sell. For instance, they may have poor pictures here. They may not have good keywords in their titles. The sellers might have poor reputations. It might be overpriced. There's a lot of factors, and it's something that you have to look at. I think these ones that are completed sales are the most important ones to look at, especially when it comes to pricing, because it tells you how much you can potentially get for a torque wrench on eBay. Now, you can go on a particular item here, press it, and then you can look at a particular seller, and he's listed right here. Now, I'm just going to copy it for later on. I'm going to use it to demonstrate something in a different software tool. But you can press on that and get more information about that seller. Now, this particular seller has had a fair number of sales, and he has a good reputation. And he sells some other weird items. Sometimes you can get some good ideas of other things to sell on eBay when you do this kind of research. Now, the next tool I'm going to show you is called Terapeak. And this tool is, in my opinion, the must-have tool if you're going to be a serious e-commerce seller. Now, this is a dashboard. This is what you first see when you log in. Now, the most important button on this page is the in-depth research button. Now, one of the things that you might want to look at initially is hot research. When you press on this, you're going to get the 20 top items on eBay. It's not surprising that cell phones and accessories is the hottest item on eBay. A word of warning. Oftentimes, it's not a good idea to sell the hottest item on it. The reason is that major players are usually selling those items. So brand items, electronics, and things like that sometimes are very tough areas in eBay to be competitive in. So again, I'm stressing, you got to do your research if you're going to be successful here. And people that have eBay stores, they're going to have a lot less overhead than you will when you're just using standard fees and things like that. Another item you want to look at is category research for ideas. Now, Terapeak has this system where it has these colored buttons, and it gives you sort of an idea of how popular they are on eBay. Red is the most popular, and gray would be the least popular. Now, sometimes you're going to find categories with no buttons. That doesn't mean that they're not popular at all. You just have to drill down further in those categories and subcategories, and you will see colored buttons. Now, in this case, I'm going to go to Home and Garden and Tools, and I'm going to hit on wrenches. And you can see torque wrenches is a fairly popular item. I'm going to click on that. Now I'm going to get a list of torque wrenches sold on eBay based on the number of total bids. Now, this is for 7 days. Now, unlike eBay, couple things. One is Terapeak only shows you completed sales. The other thing is you can look at 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, 1 day. So you have a lot more control as to what you're researching. Let's look at 14 days. That's sort of similar to what eBay does. Now, these are the listings. You can look at trends. This is for 14 days. I like 365 days. By doing this, you can see if there's a seasonality to a particular product you're thinking about selling. Now, it looks like about June 30th is your peak time to sell torque wrenches. It does look like it's in an upswing right now, so that's one good piece of information. Looks like the price is fairly stable. Looks like in November it's not so great, so that's something good to know. Let's look at the top selling torque wrenches on eBay. It looks like the brand Pittsburgh is a very popular item. Tektron is another one that's very popular. Craftsman. So those are products you might want to try to source if you're thinking about selling torque wrenches on eBay. Now, this is the most important one. This tells you the 20 top eBay sellers of torque wrenches. Now, for instance, this square 2-box up here. This guy's selling $9,400 worth of torque wrenches every month. He's doing something right. What you want to do is you want to look at every single one of these and find out how they're selling their torque wrenches. Are they doing it by auction? Are they doing it by fixed price? Do they have a store? What are they selling them for? What are they using for their keywords? And what kind of pictures are they using? So let's go on this one here. Now, compared to eBay, this is a gold mine. They're going to tell you everything about this seller. His average price is $32.75. He sells more torque wrenches on Monday than any other day. Now, that's a piece of very useful information, especially if you're going to sell something on auction. Usually, when you're selling something on auction, you want it to peak on a day where there's lots of people looking for torque wrenches. And you want to also peak, at around, it looks like 3 to 4 p.m. Another useful piece of information. These are his keywords here. So you want to make sure that it has some of those keywords in them for ads if you're going to sell torque wrenches. It looks like he sells them for a fixed price. That might be a good way to sell torque wrenches. Looks like, especially if it's a top guy. He's doing something right here. Okay, now you can look at his listings here. What is this guy selling and what is he selling them for? That means he's selling them in a store right here. And he's selling this torque wrench for $299. It's sort of interesting. Sometimes you sell them for a fixed price here. See? So it gives you an idea. You can start then searching around for these particular items and see if you can buy them for a price that makes sense. Let's go back to in-depth research here. Now, another tool, competitor research tool. Remember, I extracted that one seller's information or his username on eBay. And if you want to do a more in-depth research on this guy, what you can do is you can just paste it in here and then hit this. Now look at what you're going to get when you do it here on Terapeak versus what you get on eBay. And now that's all the items he's selling. Here you're going to get a dissection of what this guy's doing and how he's making money on eBay and what day is he selling the most product and the pricing and how is he selling it, bids, fixed pricing. It looks like he's doing both. So this is just unbelievable as far as the amount of data that you can get online here. Another thing you can do is you can look at the product research. Here you can be more specific. If I put in torque wrench, I can look at just bid auctions. I can look at fixed price, store. So let's say I go pick fixed price in store. And then I can look at a certain price, let's say $5 to $20. And I want to look at just torque wrenches sold in the United States. I apply the filters and I go. And then I can look at the top sellers, I can look at the trends, I can look at all the items that they're selling, and so on. This is just great stuff. Let's look at the dashboard. Let's say now you're thinking seriously about selling torque wrenches now, and you're looking for sources of torque wrenches. One potential source is Alibaba. And so on Terapeak, what you can do is you can go on this button here, Source My Inventory, click on it, and then just put in torque wrench. And that's going to give you a list of products related to torque wrench that you might want to consider selling. Now, I've noticed sometimes that when you go through Terapeak to go to Alibaba, oftentimes you will not get a complete listing of the product that you're thinking about selling. For instance, here on Alibaba, these are some of the torque wrenches that are available on Alibaba. Now, what you'll notice here is there's no prices. And these guys are wholesalers, manufacturers, and they're looking for big-time customers. They're not looking to sell torque wrenches one at a time. So what you need to do is you got to contact the supplier. You got to find out what's the minimum number of items you have to buy, and find out what the price structure is, and so on and so forth. Shipping, you might want to get a sample first. Now let's go back to in-depth research. You remember I was talking about the importance of keywords in your ad. They have a tool here called SEO. Now, this is just one more way of looking at keywords. You can just, like for instance, if I was selling torque wrenches, I would put in torque and hit the enter button. Put in wrench, hit the enter button. And then what it'll do, it will populate it with some of the most popular keywords related to torque wrenches on eBay. So, for instance, if I was selling a Craftsman, here it is. Maybe, as far as if I was selling a new one, I'd maybe do that. And then it starts giving you examples of those products sold on eBay, and it gives you a price. So it sort of shows you your competition, the price, that you're maybe going to be able to sell it for. Then you're going to have to start looking at, does it make sense as far as, considering what you can buy it for. And so this tool, basically in summary, is just, it's golden. It really gives you everything you need to know before you start buying things and selling things. They give you a 7-day free trial. I would really recommend that you go and just try it out.